Okay, so it's still early. It looks like there's light out there, but that's just the light. It's still dark as shit out. And God, the weather is weird here. Like, it's just weird. And even when they say it's going to be a certain thing, then the next day it can totally change. It's just weird. And I know that a lot of people are having just really weird stuff with the weather. I don't know. I think it's gone out of control. They've manipulated it so much they don't even know what they're doing anymore. It's just gone crazy. They're so busy trying to make hurricanes and tornadoes and windstorms. Oh yeah, I wanted to say too that I had just seen, I think I see this guy all the time. I just don't ever listen. And today, whatever caught my, whatever was said, I was like, oh, I think I'll listen for a second. And so I think he's a channeler. And I think he channels somebody called Bashar or something. Bashar. Or maybe that's the guy's name. Bashar. I'm not sure. But he was I think I don't know his name. I think he's channeling someone named Bashar. That's an alien, is how I took it. But I don't know. I'm not familiar with him. Somebody who knows more about him could be like, no, that's not it. So I'm not trying to say like I know about his stuff or anything. I don't. The only thing I had seen that I wanted to mention was because he was saying there's going to be, this communication. I don't remember what he was calling it. It's not disclosure. It's when we get to meet with the aliens and talk to them and stuff like that. When we start integrating as cosmic beings with the other cosmic beings. And so he was saying that's going to happen in 26 or 27. So see, that's what I was saying the other day was I don't think that is about what's about to happen. Even though there's tons of people who are out there looking at the sky and seeing ships and all of that kind of stuff. And tons of people are talking to them all the time. But I don't think that is what's going to happen first. Is to me, like I said before, we still have to raise our vibration. We still have so many toxic people who are scared. They're just scared of everything. And they can't accept or acknowledge what this place really is. So, we got to go through this awakening part and this healing part. Then that is when I think we start having the cosmic interaction. And I'm pretty sure he said something too about something happening. I don't remember now though. But there's going to be something that's going to happen that's going to be really significant that impacts the whole planet. And so that's why I think I'm still going with how I'm seeing it. With especially like there's so much stuff like I just saw there's missiles fly, there's all sorts of shit going down with the warship, there's all sorts of shit going down with the government stuff and who's in charge and who's being arrested. And boy, Tucker, he's not holding back. So he's definitely showing. And I don't know still, you don't know even when somebody's coming out spilling the beans, like Tucker could be, he got in trouble for something, but it wasn't that bad. So he's going to turn it around by disclosing stuff. So, that's that changing the energy. So I don't know, what his involvement is with the bad people. I guess his dad worked for the CIA and or some 3-letter agency. And so he's saying more stuff. And I guess it's really beginning to bother some people because Maddow and Schumer were having a little combo about it. And they're just pretty sure, yeah, it was Schumer. And I could be saying the wrong name. I can see him, but I think it was Schumer. So anyways, and Tucker is going to keep on saying so. He's going to keep putting people into uncomfortable situations and talking about stuff that they don't want talked about. Just on his whole thing with Jeffrey Epstein was, strangled. It wasn't, suicide. And so, there's just going to be, people are going to just nonstop be coming, disclosing stuff. There's going to be places they're not going to be able to shut it down. Like, I think on Twitter, there's a lot of disclosure happening. I don't know on TikTok, because I don't know. They just jack with my algorithm. I swear to God. Nobody sees my videos but me. It's like fucking ridiculous. But it's happening to a lot more people. I'm seeing a lot more people with a lot of followers saying, like, all of a sudden I'm getting 40 views. It makes no sense. And so, I've been dealing with it for a while. So I'm just hoping that that's because it's about to blow, go the other direction as it gets old. But there was a bunch of other stuff that I wanted to talk about that I had been talking about. And then these videos come to me. Even a movie yesterday that came to me was, this was another Lifetime true story. I think it was a Lifetime one. But it was a true story. And let me think who, it had some people in it, but I can't remember their names. I think it was like Charles Durning and Michael O'Keefe or something. But anyways, it was an older movie, a true story. It's a true story, of course, with it was a criminal guy. It was a guy who was like a pimp, who owned massage parlors and stuff. I think he maybe got an accident. Somehow this guy got involved with him, and they started doing insurance fraud. And they were doing car wreck, hitting, fall down, whatever, insurance fraud with cars and stuff. And so then they wanted to make more. So they decided to do life insurance policies. And the one guy, he just developed a whole fake persona. And then the guy running the massage parlor would find a girl who didn't really have family. This is always a thing. Nobody's going to really miss them. And so then wine and dine her, hurry and marry her, pull out a life insurance policy. Within 2 weeks of meeting the person, you're married, you've insured them, you've killed them. Like, it's tragic, man. And especially because the girl, she's madly in love. He's whining and dining. I mean, he's putting the pressure on, like, she's just the cat's meow. And she's believing it. Like, shame on her. This poor girl who has nobody, working in a massage parlor, who her only contact is an aunt. And luckily that aunt pushed, because she said, no, something's up. And she pushed and pushed the judicial to do something. And there is so much corruption. Oh my God, it's disgusting too. Any of these things where you watch these old movies that have to do with court cases and stuff, the loopholes and the bullshit it's so clear that the judicial was never there for us. It wasn't put in place to protect us. It was put in place to take us down. And so it's fucking bullshit. It's nonsense. And, we got to move past it. And so, that was super sad. And it just is so much about, that people, it is so strange to me how much people value money. Like, TikTok, I even just saw this morning, and this guy's thing, I'm sure it was something about, here, buy my manifestation book. I know the secret. Is he's showing his, oh, here's my Lamborghini. Oh, here's my Porsche. Oh, here's all this shit. Get people, like, oh, that's what's important. Just go out and fucking worry about manifesting some fancy ass car. That's going to make your life complete. One thing too, I've seen so many of the different detransitioners, and so many of them just are like, I just wish somebody would have been talking to me back then about learning to love myself. No, nobody tries to tell them. No, it's a quick and easy way to, get them on drugs and get them sterile. And that's the goals here. So there was some more stats too that I had just seen. Something, what was it? It was something disturbing about the whole thing. I can't remember. But I've seen, it's like two different things too. Like, I've seen these trans men. They look like men. 100% look like men. And they're not even trying. I mean, when you got a full ass beard, Or you got like this one I just saw talking, and it's mind-boggling when you go in the comments. But so it's a little tiny guy, so many of these little tiny guys. And I love that the little tiny one's speaking out and saying, hey, I can be a little tiny feminine guy. That doesn't mean I'm a trans, and it doesn't mean I want to be a woman. Thank God. Thank God for people who can just be true to themselves. And and I'm not saying shame on any trans people, because I totally understand that the confusion, especially in this world, and they feed off of that. And when people don't have good support or good spiritual background, then they're not going to understand. And so, that is, it's sad. There's not anything wrong with people who are truly transitioning from their heart, trying to really find themselves. The distortion comes from the agenda, where they start playing on people's doubts and fears and stuff. They see it. Oh, here's a red light. Look at this, bothers them. Look at how they have a hard time with this. They struggle. Let's go and attack this. And that's, what they do. And then you have all these people who are just in a identity crisis. But so this was another one of these little tiny guys, and he, very guy-looking face, and purple. They always get these, like, I don't know, dresses that women don't go around wearing, and then I don't know, like purple lame or something. I don't know. But then his hair is like totally like a balding man. Like there's only like this much of his hair, just like a tiny bit of his hair. And he's just got like a comb over. And then he's talking about cis women. Like, he's just not even going to, there's women born without uteruses. It's just so silly that women want to try and pretend like they're different than men, that we are our own thing or something. Like it's so strange, these conversations. And it's so strange is when you go in the comments, how many of these people are all supportive of this weird narrative. And you go in and look, and it's not like, it looks like regular people, regular just girls. Like, I don't know, maybe they're every single one of them just trans and they're trying to stick together. I don't know. And this was another thing too. So I was just talking about these two girls yesterday. One of them is, she's just been going through this whole thing with her relationship, and it's all been being very played out very publicly on this, on TikTok. And, and she's putting all her emotions out there and what she's going through, which, that's going to help somebody. So, I mean, it wouldn't be happening if it wasn't going to be helping somebody. But so she is, going through all that, and now she's back in a thing of, she wants to, God, I'm all of a sudden sweating. I'm hot. She wants to, break up with him. She don't want to be with him anymore. She's done with that again. And, but the thing is where she started saying in her video that she's doing, that she's totally done now. And, and she's bawling, and am I ever going to find another guy? Should I even, is there any nice guys? Am I going to be with a nice guy? Is a nice guy ever going to come? Is there going to be a good guy? Maybe I should just be a lesbian. That's what I'm saying. Like, people, they have bad relationships, and then they decide, well, I guess I'm a lesbian. It's like, and to just be like, they haven't even broke up, and she's already going into the next relationship. Like, where's that one? And I can recognize that because that's how I was. I was a relationship junkie. Here, fix my life. Just jump into one relationship after another. And it is, it's toxic as fuck. It is not healthy at all. And you just take all of your problems and just keep taking them. It is like you just fill your bags and go to the next one. Oh, get some more, fill them up. And you're just dragging around shit. You have to go into a relationship clean. You have to go in after you go through a breakup. You got to go through the healing. You got to process. and go through all of the things that relationship brought up in you, and all of the pain, everything that goes through. And sometimes that can take a while, but you're better off doing it in between relationships than to do like what I did, wait until you've had a whole bunch and then go in and try and heal it all at the end. And then you just have to, I really think it is so much more productive to just really heal yourself in between. Don't think like you're leaving one relationship and you're already thinking about like how you're going to get into the next one. And maybe it even won't, you'll just take whoever. And this is something that's just kind of sad, because it really does have like so many women or young women or whatever who feel so shitty about themselves that they will just take whoever, whatever. This video I just saw, it was just so sad to me. It was so sad to me. Is this girl, she's really up close to the phone, and her face is really big. So I'm sure she was probably, by her face, I would guess she's probably like 400 pounds. And she's leaving the club early, and she's bawling her head off because she's a 10 and this guy couldn't see it. And so she left, and she's a jack in the box in the line because she's going to go stuff her feelings. Just everything about it was like, what? Why would this guy be able to break you, for one thing? Why do you want to be stuck in something that you're not happy with? She thinks she's a 10, but she's going to the club. One guy, there's no fucking way that she has a bunch of guys coming up and hitting on her. She's not getting what she wants. She wants to have, romance and passion and somebody to, be interested in her. But she's not setting herself up for that position. She's setting herself up for the position of just being unhappy and it's kind of like just like I'm not going to be my best self. I'm just going to be satisfied and then shame everybody for not accepting me, but not trying to be their best self. Because to me, like, you could for sure skip the fucking Jack in the Box at night. Like, get rid of that shit. In the McDonald's, like, all this shit is shocking how many people just keep eating this shit and eating at bad times. And, I since I watched so many old movies where people were still really thin and it wasn't toxic. It wasn't like everybody was starving. It just was a different way that people ate. And we didn't have so much poison in the food. But it just is, I don't understand how, like I've seen, like yesterday I saw a bunch of videos, different ones. Like one of them was a girl and she was upset because she has lost 250 pounds. And I think she said she was 400. And so now I think she's below 200. So she was over 400. Now she's below 200. But she was just over 400. Yeah. But she was saying that it just makes her so mad. She said you'd be shocked how many people say to her, like, oh, I bet your husband is so happy now. I bet your husband really loves you now. Oh, your husband didn't love you before. Just all sorts of stuff like that. And so her video was trying to tell people, love does not have to do with your body. Love has to do with your soul. He loves me for who I am on the inside. And it is offensive how people keep saying this stuff. And then I saw another one, and she had lost from 600 pounds. Now she was down to like 250, and she was doing a cooking one. And so you see these videos of these people that are just, taking control of their lives. Like, and I don't know about the one who had lost from 400 to 200 or whatever over the past year. I don't know if she had health concerns, because she said her husband, in the video, she said, my husband met me when I was 380. He married me when I was at my biggest. He loved me. And for people to think like love has to do with something different, like people don't understand. And so she was already big. So I don't know if she started having health concerns or whatever. But I've seen so many of these videos lately of these girls with these extreme weight loss and taking control. So then when you see this other girl who's just crying because somebody didn't like her and they were mean to her at the bar, and then she's just heading to Jack in the Box to fill in the gaps, it's like, you got to take control. You got to start being your best self. Not just being satisfied because you can weigh 400 pounds. You can weigh less too by taking control. And when you take control of your life, you start feeling good about yourself. You start feeling content because you are controlling something. And it isn't like there's a toxicity to over control, because everything's about balance. So when you see these girls that go all in the other direction and become anorexic, because they got to have so much control. They're going to starve their body. How dare you, body, want a cracker? So then is kind of a, man, my fucking, it's kind of like it's like passive aggressive or something. Like, people are toxic to their bodies, and they talk mean to them, and how dare you and stuff like that. So the people who go into like that anorexia, and they're creating that environment, that toxicity with their body, so that and that's why their stuff starts shutting down and stuff, is because they are trying to start, because you can go and you can find like those brethren people. There's all sorts of these highly spiritual people who, some just live off of some berries and shit. And they aren't out there eating all, 3 meals a day and all that stuff. And they're not starving. They're healthy as fuck. It has to do with your attitude. It has to do with your intention. It has to do with how you're treating yourself. And you're treating yourself with love. You're taking care of yourself. Then your body's going to show it. When you are treating yourself with hate and mad and how dare you, you shouldn't want to eat. Why aren't you pretty enough? Why aren't you skinny enough? And all of that stuff. Then your body's going to show that abuse. And you have those girls, they look so sickly, like just bones and skin over them. And then I just saw, there's this one, I keep seeing her too on, and I don't think she's in what was she talking about? I don't know, because you go and you listen to some of them talk, and then they'll blame it on the culture. The culture created their hate for themselves, which, that's a legit, thing, because this culture is there to create you to hate yourself. That's what they're trying to do. So, but it's up to the individual to be their own champion, to be their own strength. Just like that woman, like when she went out and that, whatever situation happened that traumatized her, whatever this guy did or said to her, that, she could have taken that as like, okay, that's my bottom. That's I've hit rock bottom now. I'm not going to go out in public when I'm out to have a good time and have people ridicule me. I can be better. I can look better. I can do better. You're owning your own ownership. It's not settling like I'm worthless. Nobody's going to care about me. And it doesn't matter if you're going around saying, oh, I'm so healthy and stuff like that. Because there's no way. More and more of this stuff is coming out with the body and the whole manipulation of body image. And what was it too? Boy, there's a lot of weird clone stuff. Like Katy Perry out wandering around at that wedding, at the coronation, the Grim Reaper. Like, a lot of people are like, is that Was that like a joke or something? Did someone just put that in there? Did that really happen? It wouldn't, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all if it really happened. If the Grim Reaper really walked, but it would totally be like a white hat thing, you know, because there's not really a Grim Reaper. So I would say it's the white hat showing that it's the death of the monarch finally. And there was a good thing too, because I had seen all those lives, and it was so disappointing to see like all those people on the road lining up for this parade, willing to spend the night out on the street. And it wasn't just like a few people. It was fucking packed. 4 or 5 people deep off the road. And the guy was just walking in just tent after tent, chair, like just tons and tons of people. And not big tents. I'm talking like a little one-man tent. And just all sorts of people out there waiting. And it's like, oh my God. I thought that they would be more like, and my neighbor, you know, she's English. And when all this shit first started happening and I had said something, that's when I found out everything I say, she just thinks is wackadoodly-doo. She doesn't fucking like, no. And she'll fucking go research something. If I say something, she'll go look to make sure that she can say that that's not true. I know I've talked about these before, but I was like, it's so weird. Like it could be the most, like one of them was this guy in England who was out on the street and he was saying all this stuff. And so I had sent her the video and I said, something about ask your mom or something about if this is going on there. And this was 2020. I mean, so much has happened now, you know, and whatever it was that she came back and said, it was everything I said. So nothing has budged her in her awareness about any of that stuff. I mean, she's happy in her 3D life. And she told me the other day when we were outside talking at the fence, because the kids were hollering at me. They were on the trampoline. The one who shares my birthday, she's always, Kelly. And she's always wanting to chat with me. And I think there's got to be some special bond between us. Because I know that she's a super spiritual little being. You can just tell when someone is here. Like I would say she is the person in that family to shake things up. She is, so she is the same birthday as me. And so I can't even I haven't been celebrating my birthdays. They'll come and give me cake and stuff because they know what day my birthday is. It's the same day as hers. And, but she's always trying to talk to me. And I feel like that there is some kind of a special birthday bond. I don't know. Maybe we come from the same planet or something. I'm not sure. But she definitely is always trying to talk to me. When she sees me, the other little girl too, she will too, but the littlest one, she's definitely, but anyway, so the mom came out and she was talking and she said, oh, you're going to be happy because we're going to leave this summer for 5 weeks and go to London and see my mom, or go to England and see my mom. I was like, oh, cool. That'll be fun. And then she started telling me about her husband was going to come. And then she started telling me about going to get a dog sitter from the neighbor. She starts telling me all this different stuff. But I kept on thinking about like if she was going to, what's going to go on there. I did see yesterday. So after I saw all that coronation stuff, because she's definitely, I think her family would be somebody who'd line up on the sidewalk. And so what I saw yesterday though was different English people. Like this one guy, he was saying that it's they're not showing, and he was saying they're not showing the real footage of what is really going on with the people. And all of the people were gathered. I saw one live later in the evening, Trafalgar Square. They were all out there protesting. And when they did some kind of a part of the ceremony, they all started chanting. I don't know if it was like down with the king or something. Like he said way more than half of England, way more. He was saying it is the biggest amount of people in England are awake and they're against the crown. They're against the whole thing. So that other thing, whatever, where all those people were lined up for the coronation, like, I don't know, maybe they came from other countries, like, maybe it wasn't all just like English people, but he's saying the majority of the English people are completely aware of what's going on. They're fighting the government. I saw the people in Scotland, they're fighting the crown. All of the different footage I see in these different places, if it's not just on the live things, some of it can be just like weird stuff. Like somebody was showing a sunrise this morning, and usually those are in Florida when they show these sunrises. And this one was weird because they're not talking or anything. They're just having the sun come up. But the sun came up, but it looked like another one down under it. And then over to the other side, it looked like another one was coming out. I was like, okay, so, and the person wasn't saying anything. I don't even know if they were next to their camera. But then I saw another guy, and this was he, I think, is the Key West one. He's the Florida realtor guy who does the sunrises. The one I was seeing before, he was always in Key West, but I don't know, this could have been a different one. But there's a lot of these Florida realtors, they get up there in the sunset or sunrise, and then they start doing a hard sale to get clients. Oh, why you should move to Florida, and they've got great places and stuff like that. And he was showing the sunrise, and he was saying it's really different because there's so much haze. He goes, this haze is not, it's extreme over the last few weeks. So I don't know. He even said, I don't know what they're spraying on us. So he even said that, and he normally doesn't say any of that kind of stuff when I've watched the sunrise. And so there was those man, I saw a thing in Kentucky today. I was like, every time I see these videos of them showing like Kentucky or Alabama or something, I was like, oh man, I want to go down there. Like it's really pretty up here, but it's so cold. It is still cold. Well, if you go outside of if I went out in the streets and was out in the sun, it would be warmer. It's just because I have all my trees around me. But when it's cold or when it's rainy and overcast, it's fucking cold. And I can't even believe it's like so hot in other places right now. It's like, man, I want to go out and I just want to go on a beach. My daughter, is in Mexico, and she is having a bad time, really bad time. She's super sick with food poisoning. She broke her toe doing something. I think that was when they were maybe they're jumping off the thing. It was the day that they were doing the scuba diving. She broke her toe. Her toenail's coming off, and it keeps getting hung up. So she was trying to cut it back or something. So she's got all this pain, and that just shoots up, man, when you've got that. And so she's got all that pain, and she's super, super sick with whatever I just said, food poisoning. And then the other day, she said that the girls had gone out and drank too much. I didn't even ask. I was like, I don't even want to know. Are they just going out to bars? Like, these are girls that would totally be pulled for trafficking. It's like, oh my God, just go around. It's hard to know so much bad stuff and then watch people just go around oblivious to it. And I saw a woman who was doing a video. She was just so distraught. She didn't even know what to do because she had to go in and she was going to make dinner for her boyfriend. And she wanted to go in the store and get some steaks and fruits and vegetables and stuff. And she's just sitting in the car and she's just like, I'm so stressed. I'm having such an anxiety attack because I don't even know what that meat is. Like, am I going to get human? Am I going to get animal meat? Am I going to get, there's so much coming out about with chicken. I'm sure with pork, but definitely I've seen with the beef and chicken that cancer, oh God, gross ass shit. And they just cut around it and stuff. Like disease, we are eating disease fucking food. And no wonder fucking Stella's sick. Every fucking thing. Just feeding her diseased food. Fucking air is fucking diseased. The soil's fucking diseased. And that is one of the reasons why I guess it's important to use the boron. Because boron used to be in the soil, but they fucked the soil so much that we don't have any minerals in our soil. Our water is fucking toxic as fuck. I guess now they're saying you shouldn't even be letting your pets drink the water. That pets are getting sick from the water because there's so much toxins in the water. And all this stuff is just going to keep coming and coming. It was like there was little bits coming out and not enough people paid attention. So then it's just got to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so, that's what we got to keep going through. Is shit just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. More and more absurd. More and more ridiculous. And so it is, we just got to ride it out and just, it is hard too. Because when you see some of this stuff, you want to react. Like, oh my God, that guy is sitting there looking like a guy in a dress, telling women that they aren't real, like cis women are just too up in them own, like we're up our own asses, thinking we're women or something. Like, how dare us women think we're women, because some women are born with no uterus. Some people are born intersex, which I thought that was a hermaphrodite, I thought a hermaphrodite was born with a penis and a vagina. And then, but apparently there's more to it, because there's people who are, they didn't get, because there's people out there, a lot of people saying that they're intersex. And so it's like the anomalies are trying to say because they exist, the other doesn't exist. It's like, no, the other exists. That's how you know you're an anomaly, because you are different from the typical. So that makes an anomaly, which that is, it's all in how you look at it. It's all in how you perceive, because every bit of uniqueness is for your experience. And the more unique, the more you are here to experience, to understand about, and to learn about. So that is, there's nothing wrong with being an anomaly. There's nothing wrong with being a freak or a mutant or any of these things that are not typical, that they've come up with these words that people take as something rude or whatever. But it's an anomaly to, like, there's a set regular system, and then if it's different than that, then that is something different. And so, because there's some of these people who they were born and then they just grew up being a boy, but then they started having girl hormones. Like what was his? Because I think he had a penis, was growing, or I couldn't tell. It was an androgynous person. Had a penis, and then, thought they were a boy, and then started growing boobs and when they got older. So I think there's something, with the hormone system or something that can also make somebody intersex. Like they can get both hormones. Like, I don't know. Do they have an X or XY? Like, I don't know. Some of this stuff is just becoming so absurd. You got these men who want to be women, but don't want women to define what a woman is. A man thinks he can define what a woman is. It's like, I don't know. I totally get where people are just like, this is just mental illness. Like, I saw somebody and they were really upset about this. And they said they're going to be, and this was, you could tell it was an older lesbian, not an older, like an older woman, but I don't know, probably 40, 45. But, like a masculine lesbian. So she You know, that was her community before. Now she's also one of those people is like, no, this is getting too weird. I'm going to start speaking out against this bullshit. And the one she was speaking out against was the one with the video of the man trying to breastfeed the baby. And I'm telling you, it's weird. I saw it, and I've seen it a bunch of times, and it's so weird. But she said, so the person who he's with is a trans person too. So was the natural born woman is the one who I would assume gave birth to the baby. And now, okay, so you got the trans, okay, so the person who was born as a woman who became a man, who's in a relationship with a man who became a woman, who still looks like a man, who's trying to nurse the baby. And doing a whole thing about it. And this person, the lesbian who was speaking out about this, was like, that is child abuse. Why do you have a baby sucking on your nipple? Nothing's coming out of your nipple. This is getting to be so weird and so perverted. And I can't support this stuff anymore. Like, this is getting to be just sickening. And anybody who can see this poor child, what hope is there for this poor child now? You know, born into this mentally ill family where the parents are completely confused over their roles, over their gender identity. They're trying to swap out, you know, here, you breastfeed the baby even though you don't have milk ducts. Like, it's weird. I don't know. And all these people who keep arguing about they're trans and so they have a period. Okay, so to me, what I would say is that they have some sort of a cycle, some sort of a hormonal cycle occurs that they feel the hormone, the cycle. And so and when they go and talk about it to a doctor, they say, oh, well, that's a period. That's a menstruation period about your cycle. But you don't really have a period. A period to all of us girls who grew up being girls, we were told a period was when your uterine lining comes off because you didn't get pregnant, and you bleed out all of that stuff to clear out the system to prepare for the next month to see if you're going to get pregnant for that month. And so it is, you know, it's a whole system they got going. And it has a big part about, you know, the bleeding part, the part that all the girls hate. And it's a ordeal. And it can cause so much cramping and cause, you know, so many people have endometriosis and severe cramping and horrible, horrible periods. I always had cysts. And so many women have the cyst problems. And I'm sure it's something to do with our food and the hormones and shit. So, you know, and they keep arguing about this. Like, the girls keep getting really mad that doctors, or who knows what these people's doctors are like, are saying that they can have a period when they can't have a period, because you have to have a uterus, you have to have ovaries, you have to have eggs, you have to have all this stuff to have a period. But I think that they're just talking about some sort of a hormone cycle. Because these guys, I mean, I've seen video after video of these men going to buy Tampax, and all the women now are boycotting Procter & Gamble, and all Tampax, all Procter & Gamble products are being boycotted because they're using men to do Tampax. And then you've got all these men out here going to buy tampons and trying to put them in to their fake vagina. And I saw this one, and he's like, oh, I'm so scared. I think I'm going to lube it up. And it's so dry in there. But if I lube it up, it should be okay. Why do you want to have what is going on? Like, I don't understand why people can't feel their own experience. Why are you trying to have an experience? Like, you think that a girl's experience is so much better, so you're going to just switch over and try and make your experience be a girl experience instead of experiencing your experience, like, I don't understand why, well, it's the same thing as that, going through the hall, pounding on every door, instead of just waiting for the door that opens for you, to just try and force life, force it. And that is kind of like the general overall kind of emotion or energy, is all about forcing things. Force someone to like you, force someone to agree with you, even if it means you have to bully them or punch them out, make sure that they're going to agree with you. And look at what a healthier society, when you don't need people to agree with you, when you can just be like, hey, yeah, this is what I think. Yeah, if you don't agree with me, that's fine. I don't care. This is how I see it. This is what I think. This is how I feel. And that is me. That's how I feel. That's how I see things. And that is all based on my understanding of life at this point in my life. And you're allowed that. Nobody can take that away from you. That's your perception. That's your experience. You are allowed to perceive your experience in the way you perceive it. And you should be proud of yourself, no matter how you perceive it. And no matter, just because you have a lot of growth to do doesn't discount where you are at the time, anytime. So even if you haven't even started doing your healing and you're just in the very beginning, then your opinions and everything still matter. Especially, like, then you can watch how you transform how you look at things as you heal and you grow. And you notice, like, how you look at things differently, how you see things differently, But when you can get to that place of not needing other people to agree with you, to just be able to be fine with it. And that, when I see so many people, that is a hard thing for people to do. People need to have a group telling them that they're okay. And that is, that's just an independence. That's a part of you that you need to, pull into. Not pull free from. You want to go into that. You want to lean into that independence of not caring what other people think. And that isn't like, I'm going to just do shitty things and be an asshole and not give a fuck what people think. No, that isn't. It is the vulnerability is to be trying to put out your best self. And maybe it won't be good enough for somebody else, but you got to always be thinking, why would you worry about when somebody else who's broken inside, who's probably masking their pain, why would you worry about what they think about you? They've got their own pain. They've got their own struggles. So when we're putting that off on everybody else, and everybody's in their pain and in their struggles, and we're trying to get everybody, hey, just tell me I'm okay. Tell me I'm good enough. Tell me, instead of telling it to ourselves and accepting ourselves. And, it's a very vulnerable to put yourself out there and to take a chance of, not being liked. And you got to just be like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if somebody doesn't like you. We get so caught up in the whole thing, how much of ourselves we're willing to change to try and get somebody to like us. And I couldn't believe how many videos I was seeing this morning of, just, this person doesn't like me, so I got to hurry and just get another person. How am I going to find a person? Where do I get a person? Do I find them on a dating thing? Like, everybody's out there, like, in this search. I just got to find a person. If I find this person, and then it doesn't even matter, maybe I'm gay because I can't get along with my husband. Maybe there's not enough good men out there, so I'll just go gay. See what I mean? That's not about love. That's about sex. That is about, like, I need my needs met. I need somebody to come in and make me feel good, which, you can do that for yourself. You don't need somebody to come in and do it for you. You can do it for yourself. As a matter of fact, you can make yourself feel better, probably, than anybody else has ever made you feel. because you know what you want. You know what feels good. And when you're by yourself, you're not going to feel like anybody's looking at you, listening to you, or anything like that. So, it's your own self-discovery, which I think, that should be, there should be nobody going and getting into relationships until they're very familiar with themselves, as far as I'm concerned, because you're putting that off on somebody else. You're, trying to figure you out through somebody else. And it just, it doesn't work. There's a distortion. How can you expect somebody else to put you ahead of themselves? They've got themselves to worry about, not what you need. That's up to you. Especially if you're a young girl and don't even know about all that stuff. And if you're insecure and embarrassed to say what you want or what you need, there's so much to your self-growth to get yourself into a healthy position. But everything is so based on toxic relationships. I mean, people just are constantly throw this one out, run to the bar, meet another one, and then be disappointed. Well, that one didn't work either, so I must be gay. And it's like, the reason it's not working is because you're toxic as fuck. You are toxic. Until you go and you fix your toxic shit, you're not going to be happy. One of the problems is most of the people are in toxic relationships, and then they want to blame the other person for their unhappiness. You have to take responsibility and say, I am allowing this to be my life. Why? Why am I allowing this to be my life? Do I not deserve better? Can I not, make a better life? Which to me, is clear that a lot of people don't have that, that security of knowing that they can create something better. They can do better. A lot of people feel trapped into who and what they are. They don't feel like there's any breaking free from that. And that is your challenge, man. That's the obstacles. That's the learning to champion yourself, not being held back, not being bound back, tied down, shackled by the bullshit in life. To be able to just say, hey, I can do better. I know I can do better. Just like I said, like I've had to start over so many times where, I've like lost everything. I won't say lost everything, because, that kind of gives you the idea of being in a fire and really losing everything. But I have, I've built up and lost what I built. Built up, lost what I built. More than once. And you have to, to me, there's a survivor instinct, and I just happen to have it. So that's what I can talk about, is that, survivor and champion yourself, even when nobody believes in you, even if everybody in the whole fucking world thinks you're a crazy fool. And, like I talked about before, remember, it's all in the receiver. And if you don't think you're a crazy fool, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what other people think, especially in this fucking place. People are so confused. They don't even half of what they think isn't even their own thoughts. So they don't, it's a wacky world. But it is, when something knocks you down, no matter what your age is, you got to get yourself back up. And you got to keep going, and you got to keep pushing forward and trying to figure out, what can I do to make this better? How can I make this better? How can I make this work? What can I do different? You can't, you can't just, you can't just do the same thing over and over and over again and then expect it's going to be different. You have to think of what can you do to make things differently. And when you're in abusive relationship after abusive relationship after abusive relationship, then you can see, oh, there is a common denominator, and it's me. So what is it in me that not only attracts these relationships, but participates in them in some level? And, and I say any of those self-help books that you go out and read about, codependency, toxic relationship, gaslighting and stuff, whatever you feel is being done to you all the time, you go out and read those books, you'll see you play a part. The stuff can't happen. It's not happening to everybody. It's happening to you because you're playing a part. You're playing a role. And no matter how much you don't want to see it, you're playing that role because you came here to play that role, because you came here to learn from that role, to experience it so that you can learn from it. And so you have to look at it deeper. You have to look at it and be introspective and trying to grow. And it's like making your garden bigger all the time. You just need to expand how you see yourself, expand how you look at things. It's an expansion of self. And so, as much as you can, is no matter what the things, like to me, seeing that girl, who's crying and on her way home from the bar, it's just so sad, man. Like I've been in with so many situations with girls and stuff, and there's a devastation with some girls when they leave the bar alone. They're fucking devastated. And and that's sad. It's sad because it's real. It's not like they're pretending. It's real. There's girls that are just desperate for that contact. And so, and I'm not saying that's good. I'm not saying that's what this girl should make her, get yourself looking good so you can just go out and sleep around, because that's not going to be good. You're not going to feel good about yourself doing that. You're not going to feel good about yourself just being used. What was that one was in, because that one movie had the prostitute girl, but there was another one that I had seen, and it was another Lifetime one, and it had prostitute girl. Oh yeah, this was good, man, because I remember when this all happened. This was like in the 80s. In the early 80s. So this is right after I got out of high school. And any of you girls who are my age will remember this, especially like Debbie, you'll remember stuff like this. Is because for us, especially in the South, you're a good Baptist girl, you go to church, you don't, I didn't go to Baptist church. We went to Lutheran because Baptists, they were extreme. My mom was a Lutheran. And so it was the pressure was on us to be perfect. You don't go and have sex, you don't give it away, you don't do all these things, where there was all this other pressure, of from kids wanting to develop and be grown-ups or something. So there was a whole thing of I can't even remember, but I remember having friends who were like, became strippers. Like there was a whole thing too, like, because I was going out to the bars and going dancing and stuff. And there was all these shows. It was all these Playboy bunnies. It was in Dallas. So all of a sudden we had a Playboys club. And there was all these Playboy bunnies. There was bunnies that when you would go out. And then they started having these shows in the bars where they would have, not just wet t-shirt contests. They would do like sexy lingerie and stuff like that. And the girls would come and prance around. I even did one of these shows one of the times where I worked. They talked me into doing it. And I'm going up against these Playboy bunnies. Like they would go around and do these shows to make money, because they would make money. And so they would go do these shows to get like $500, $1,000 that night. And whatever, these guys talked me into doing one of these and put on this fucking nightie. And I was I was so insecure. I don't even know how much I drank. I just started drinking as fast as I could, and that was back when I was drinking what was it? It was a disgusting drink that I can't even fucking to even hear the word now, I can smell it. I think they were called kamikazes, seems like. But drinking all these drinks. And then I couldn't even walk. I think somebody had to come and help me. Like, I think I was falling down on stage. So yeah, I'm not one of those girls. I'm embarrassing. But So, but that became a thing where it was like owning their sexuality. So it was kind of like, and this was the same time with the gay guys and stuff. That's what I was talking about before a few months ago, how there was like this, I don't know what else to call it, but like an expansion of go towards the sex, um, of figuring out who you were. Like, well, all of a sudden, you go to a gay club and guys are just having sex all over the place. It just was about sex, sex, sex. And it was like that too in the club. It started being about sexy and all of this, stuff. And I knew girls that left high school and went become strippers. I went and worked at that one strip club. I didn't do stripping. We wore a little like tuxedo because they were copying the Playboy Club, and they were open these gentlemen's clubs. And I wanted to get some money fast, and I knew how much money you could make, and so I went. And of course, I didn't have a body to be a stripper, anyways. I was a waitress. We wore these little tuxedo outfits, and I worked there 1 week and got $1,000. And that's the money I used to go to London. So, but there was girls who became strippers and all that stuff. So in this movie, it was showing about that. And this girl, and this was a true story too. This girl was from Kansas, and she wanted to go to LA. So she goes out there, goes to a modeling agency. She's with her boyfriend, and they say, okay, well, we'll sign you up. But it was for nude modeling. Well, nobody knew that. They thought she was just being like a Sears catalog model. And then so she starts making money, and she's getting all built up in her ego. They're telling her all the time how beautiful she is. And she was a cheerleader from high school. And so she goes completely off in that world. Her boyfriend leaves her family. Everybody's just like, you got to stop this lifestyle. You're being used. And she was being humiliated and stuff, and she would cry, and what was so crazy too is while I was watching it, and she's going through so much stuff. And just like what I was talking about with the doors opening, she was trying to force things. She wanted to be famous, and so she was would do whatever, even if it was against her soul. And that's the selling out part, when you go against your soul. And then she was so she's going and doing all of this. It went from doing the pictures to doing prostitute. No, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there's men who end up paying you, but she ended up doing porn. And at first she was just doing the little shows. You go in and do like put a quarter in. They have a whole thing about that too in that show Deuce. And then she moved up to porn, and she felt so horrible about it, and she quit. And then she went and moved in with this guy, and he was crooked. It was just like everyone that she would go and be involved with, it was just like a drama, a crisis. It was like the universe was pushing her so hard to leave that lifestyle. I mean, I could see it. I could see when things keep going bad, that's your sign. You're going in the wrong direction. I know that now because I've done it before. When you're going in the wrong direction, everything will go wrong. That's why, like, in this particular time in my life, I'm not pushing. I'm not going to force something to happen. I know that the doors will open when they're supposed to open. So I will wait for the door to open, and then I will go through it. And I'm not going to sit and pound on the doors and try and force them open and stuff like that, even if it's uncomfortable. That is what I'm here to learn about, is the discomfort of sitting and allowing life to unfold for you, instead of trying to, force doors open and force life to be what you want, and, focus on buying your Lamborghini or whatever the fuck. So, that girl in the movie, I could see that she was going against her own soul. She was going against all the universal energy. And this was all a true story. It was shocking how many bad things kept happening. I was like, man, when you are in that position and it feels like everything is going wrong, like I could totally have empathy for what she was going through. It was like, oh my God, man, this poor girl, I can totally see, like, how she would be feeling so shitty when everything goes wrong. But you got to see, like, you got to change your lifestyle. That is where everything is, like, leading you to your bottom. Everything is going to go wrong until you just are like, there's a certain point when you go like, okay, that's enough. I've got to change something. And this girl, she ended up just killing herself. She couldn't handle it. She's 22 years old. And she had just been in the, doing that stuff for a couple years. But it just showed so much, because I had been thinking so much about, how did we get here, man? How in the fuck did we get here? Because those of us who grew up in another time, it's like, man, we did have wholesome times. We did have healthier, where we were eating real food. We were socializing. We were out having fun. And then, things got sick and perverted and crazy and toxic. And there was that place. And I swear to God, it started in the 80s. And it did start with the sex and the drugs. That was one thing, too, that she was constantly doing the cocaine. And even to the point that she got holes in her nose. That was the last boyfriend that she had. The one who she used his gun. He was a dealer. But then he was telling her to stop doing it because she was just out of control. And she was just so lost. But see, you got to save yourself. She could have at any point said, I deserve better. I could have better. But it is like, what happens to the soul when they get so beat down? Just like that big girl I saw crying because she's going home alone and someone said something that hurt her feelings, and then just headed to the Jack in the Box. Like, dude, there's so many more better productive things you could do for yourself. I mean, obviously you have a severe weight problem. So you're going to be raw. You're going to feel like anybody could hurt your feelings at any time. I don't know. I mean, some of the times, you say stuff and it sounds like you're being mean or something. But it's just like, I wish that people could see you can do better for yourself. You can have the life that you wish you had. You can have the life you wish you could have. You can make it. But you have to think better about yourself. You have to see yourself as having value. And it's okay to set standards. It's okay to set rules for yourself. It's okay not to do everything for everybody. That doesn't mean you're a bad person. You're a bad person when you're doing everything that you don't want to do for people. And then you're resentful and you're angry and you're pissed off. So don't do that. Don't go and do things for people you don't want to do. Take care of yourself. It's okay to say, no, I can't do that. Sorry. And, that's perfectly fine. So there's a whole thing about believing in yourself. And then when things go wrong, do something better for yourself. Do something beautiful for yourself. Don't go stuff your feelings. That is only going to make you feel worse about yourself. She even was aware that she was doing it. And it's only going to make her feel worse. She's going to stuff her feelings and she's going to feel like shit. She's going to feel crappy about her weight. She's going to just dislike herself more. You got to see of ways to start seeing, how can I like myself? You have a choice each day. I could do this and probably by the end of the day, I'm going to be disgusted with myself. Or I could do this. Probably it's going to be hard and it's going to be challenging. But each day, if I just do something different, then things will start being different. Like, instead of going to Jack in the Box, she could have gone home and gone like, I'm going to go home and I'm going to do 10 sit-ups today. I'm just going to do 10 sit-ups. Which, by the way, when I kept talking about like the calisthenics and the pulling in your muscles and tightening them and stuff, like how much of a workout that is. Like, I'm telling you, you can fucking... Yeah, once you do it, you'll see. But I saw this girl and she was talking about that instead of doing sit-ups and all that stuff, she said that will widen your waist. She said what you want to do, and she had a really small waist. Like, she had a small sucked in waist. And she said what she does every morning is she pulls in. So she said you pull all of your muscles as tight as you can towards your belly button. Pull in, and then you're supposed to hold it for like, I think it's 20 seconds, and do another one 30 seconds, and do another one 40 seconds. But you got to keep doing these. But she said it's, you pull your muscles in and tighten them and hold them, hold them, hold them, hold them, hold them. And you'll see, you get tired doing it. Is, that trains them. Because otherwise, if you're doing those other ones, it's training them to go out. If you do this one and you suck in, you're training them to hold in and pull up. And you'll see too, if you do it, it pulls your posture. It pulls your whole spine and everything up. So it is, I would say try and do those. She said do a 28-day challenge or something and see how you do. But I had been doing all of that. Like, I had noticed all of these different calisthenics and these different things you can do, like using your own body as the, what is that? The pushback thing. So anyways, I just feel like there's more and more stuff coming out. Like, you can exercise and be healthy without having to go to the gym and kick your ass every time. Like, in simple things, just making sure you're moving in the daytime, making sure you're doing, your stretching, your yoga, and holding into the calisthenics. It really does make you stronger. Like, I'm telling you, I have gotten stronger by doing that stuff than when I was going and riding my bike all the time. And riding my bike was harder, and it was, and it would be fast too. Go ride it, and you think you're going to go on some nice long bike ride, and you come back, it's only been like 20 minutes or something. And it will make you really tired, especially if you're riding around in the hills. And then, and it wasn't near as effective as the yoga and the calisthenics and stuff for my muscles. So anyways, I should go out and ride my bike round 2, but I just haven't been lately. And I don't know. I don't know. I just feel so, I don't know. I just feel burnt out around it. Like, I'm waiting for the door to open. You know what I mean? And I see all these places like the Scotland. Like, I saw Greece today. This lady doing this whole thing in Greece again. And I was like, oh man, so many places I want to go and want to go see. I want to go to all these places and experience and travel. And, I still want to get my own little farm because I want to have animals. Like, I want to have a home base. And I want to have a place where Stella has, her little crew. So, like, she doesn't have to go on every trip with me. So she can have her own little pack. And it's so crazy when you have an animal that's with you so much. It's just you and them. It is, like, it is, I don't even know. It's like it's a strong relationship. Like, she would be devastated if I were to, like, I'm her whole life. Like, even when, this was cute because the other night, I've been going in and trying to sleep on my bed more because this is just kicking my ass. It's just too hard, and it makes my shoulders sore and stuff. And so I've been going in and laying on my bed, and the other night, and she'll come in there. She wakes up, she'll come in there and lay down, and then she'll get uncomfortable on the floor, and then she doesn't have very much room to move around in there. It's really small. And so then she started whining, and so I turned on the light, and she came out here into the living room, and she goes up to the couch to show me she wants me to get on the couch. And so I go over and I lay down on the couch, and then she goes and lays down in her bed, goes back to sleep. Like, she's so good at communicating. She's so smart and so good. Like, there's so much stuff that she, I know that people, like, they'll hear me talking to her, and it's like, God, that lady, she's so weird. She talks to her dog like it's a person. They don't understand. She listens. She reacts. She does, like, she's listening. Like, it's not that I'm talking to her above her level. She understands to that level. It's crazy how smart she is. And I know it has to do with just, it's what you do. It's what do you put in to your dog? You just treat them like they're an idiot. Do you treat them like they're just an animal? You just yell at them, kick them, hit them, throw things at them. I see that shit go on all the time with people. So, but if you treat them like they're a real soul and an individual, then you can develop a whole relationship, a whole communication. And so I know this relationship is important to me, of course, but I know it's so important to her. Like, you know, I would never do anything to hurt her over that. You know, like if I went on a trip and she was, I think she would be fine being at home. I mean, I have gone out of the country before and left her at home, and she usually is sad. But I just feel like if I get her I don't know. I am going to keep picturing my perfect lifestyle, my perfect life. I am going to know what I deserve. I'm going to picture what I want. And that is what I'm going to focus my energy on. And that's manifesting right there. That's all it is. And it isn't, you know, just sitting there going, oh, I want $1 million and I want a Porsche. And that's a different thing. That's something else. So anyways, I've been talking a long time. And I don't even know if I said anything of, but anyways, just, you know you deserve to have the best stuff that you want. Know your value. It's sad to see so many people who just, they don't think they have any value, and then they put their price tag out there for other people to decide what their worth is. And it's like, you have to decide what your worth is. And, it's a lot of vulnerability to growing and expressing and becoming your best self. So, just be ready to be uncomfortable. It's okay. It's okay to be uncomfortable. And everything that you do new is going to be uncomfortable. So don't be put off or held back, or I'm not going to do that because that'll be too uncomfortable. Be uncomfortable. It's okay to be uncomfortable. There's so much stuff that's okay that people think isn't okay. So anyways, just, like I say, work on you and stay safe. That's all you can do right now. And don't be trying to force doors open. It always leads to problems. Just allow where you're supposed to be to unfold, for the universe to show you where your next place is, where you're headed. And I look at all these different places and I see all these places, and I've put it out there, a lot of places. I'd be happy with a lot of places. Like I think the only place that I'm not happy about is just being up here. And I don't know if it's just, I've been up here for so long at this point. I've been living up north for 30 years. I'm ready to go. Like my ideal thing would definitely be, living on a beach. And like I said, I could live in the trees and be naked and live on a beach and eat berries, and I'd be okay. I don't give a fuck. I don't need a fucking Porsche. I don't fucking need a Lamborghini. I don't need a fucking fancy house. I don't need any of that shit to be happy. And I'm sad for people who think that that's what you need to be happy. But that's their journey, and everybody is going to find their own happiness. It's up to you to find what makes you happy. And if it's those things that make you happy, well, all I can say is that you're not going to go to the new age. I don't know what else to say, because it's not going to be about that stuff. It's not going to be about shallow shit. This is the end of that stuff. This is the end of the Gucci era. Like that shit. And how much of that stuff, like the Gucci, the Met Gala, what was it? All of these awards and stuff. It's it's all feeding their system. It's all their bullshit. And the Met Gala, like some of the most corrupt people. I like I said before, I think that some of these people infiltrated through the makeup community, and so much is done through fashion industry. And the fashion industry is so fucking corrupt. I just can't even tell you how. Like, when I was younger and wanted to be a model, it was a lot more devastating back then. Now it's like, oh my gosh, that was the best thing that ever happened, that I didn't continue to follow through and keep trying to go out to especially go to Europe and get involved. Like, fuck, man. God, I'm so glad that I didn't. So glad I didn't. And that was my guidance. That was 100% my guidance. You know, I'm telling you, you just go listen to your guides. They will tell you, and they'll tell you when to sit down and shut up and be calm and just wait. Just wait. Your door will open. Your door will open. I'll talk to you later. Bye.